Hey everyone, Dragon here. We are in the Valley Forge area of Pennsylvania. It's just outside of Philadelphia. And Panda and I are going to take these really sweet rides for a nice little tour around Valley Forge National Park. So we're going to get our exercise, going to, experience a little bit of a history lesson, and hopefully have a good day of it.
Not fall.
Yeah, not fall. Alright, so one of the first stops on our biking tour is one of the redoubts. It's basically a bunker. This is the view from inside of it. Gotta watch out for those pesky bikers. Behind the scenes of Panda in action. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. So here we're coming up on some of the huts, cabins that the soldiers stayed in while they held out for the winter here. But I'll give you a glimpse of the sign. I'm sorry about the shakiness there. Alright, we're out of the wind now, and I'll show you the interior of one of these. It's really interesting. Don't know if you could really imagine sleeping in such a cramped quarters with everybody. And something tells me they didn't have LED lighting back then. Then right here is the chimney. You'd imagine with how bad that winter was for those soldiers, they definitely had to have a reliable fireplace. So one of the volunteers told us that everywhere we see one of these stone monuments was basically a battalion of soldiers. So pretty much everywhere one of those is standing, we had roughly 40 to 60 cabins of soldiers all stationed in that area. Pretty interesting, pretty cramped conditions. farms, and this is the area they used for the officers' quarters. You'll have to excuse me, I am riding a bicycle one-handed, which usually isn't a big deal, but these are rentable bikes, and they don't quite feel as solid as the bike I'm used to riding. So there is the Knox Trail here. I don't know if we're going to follow that or right up here. We came from over there, down from like the main part of the park, and there's a trail that goes up the hill towards the artillery park. We skipped that because we're probably going to bring the car back around to get to that. We'll see how the day goes with the bikes. But the trail we're on goes right up behind this building, between that and like a kind of like a carriage house, and will take us by a covered bridge and down to Washington's headquarters. But yeah, we're gonna get with Panda and see which way we're gonna go here and take it from there. Okay, so we decided to take the Knox Trail, and I was riding the bicycle, but then I saw something awesome around this turn. Just figured I'd share it. Really nice stream crossing. It's a very cool looking wooden bridge. Alright, so we're about halfway through our little bicycle tour. Pardon the road noise, but we are taking a break right alongside the stream. Crossed over a covered bridge to get to this spot. Okay, so we made it to Washington's headquarters. This building right here behind me. The grounds here are really nice. We haven't really explored all of it, but we have not gone over there yet. The headquarters. And over there is it kind of looks like a carriage house, but inside is a lot of details about the forge they used. But I'll see if I'm allowed to film inside, and we'll see what we can see. So we are told that all this furniture is replica for the period. Some are actual artifacts, but Washington's headquarters, this building went about 100 years before it became a museum. So all the original furnishings are gone. But we are told that the handrail is original, so you get to touch something that some major players in American history have touched. And they also told us that the kitchen was demolished and rebuilt to be more period accurate because of what some of the owners afterward did to it. But we'll take you back outside here. So coming out of the house, through the little like breezeway, brings us right into the kitchen. It's very different from the kitchens that we're used to seeing.
Similar to what my mom had.
He was 43 when he took over the Army, 46 as Valley Force, 57 he becomes president, 67, almost 68. He died.
Here's the back side of the house.
During the Revolutionary War. He waged it back in 1778, right here in Valley Forge, while the British Army occupied the city of Philadelphia. Poor Joseph Plum Martin. He's cold. He's always hungry. He's just 17 after all, and teenage boys are always hungry. And boy, does he have the itch. Oh, he's had his inoculation against smallpox, so that's not his problem. It isn't measles or chickenpox, no. It's just the itch. Red, raw, and well, itchy, caused by tiny little creatures called mites. Oh, and Joseph isn't the only soldier scratching and itching. Lots of others are suffering from it too. So they devise a battle plan. Needing supplies, they head straight for the artillery. No, they aren't going to shoot the itch away with cannons. What they want is sulfur. One of the ingredients needed to make gunpowder. And sulfur smells, really awful. But they don't care if it can help with the battle of the itch. Now once they have the sulfur, we made great preparations for a general attack upon it. The first night, we commenced the action by mixing together a sufficient quantity of brimstone and tallow, which was the only grease that we could get. Brimstone is an old-fashioned word for the smelly sulfur. And tallow, well, that's grease that comes from cooking meat. It smells almost as awful as sulfur. When you mix them together, you get Joseph's itch ammo. Then, they whipped up a second concoction, a nice warming toddy, whose main ingredient is whiskey. Then, they built a blazing fire, nice and toasty. And we began the operation by plying each other's outsides with brimstone and tallow, and the inside with hot whiskey sling, which means that the soldiers take off their clothes. Excuse me. Then they slather on their smelly grease. And they fortify themselves with their delicious hot beverage. Then they head straight for the fire, where they began to bake themselves. And after a while, that smelly, greasy, hot itch ammo does the trick. And the battle of the itch is won. Every tiny little itchy mite dies in the assault, and the itch is vanquished. Sadly, though, there are 2 casualties. 2 of the assailants were so overcome, not by the enemy, but by their 2 great exertions in the action, that they lay naked upon the field. Those 2 soldiers probably had a bit too much of that hot toddy. But when all was said and done, Joseph and his fellow soldiers at Valley Forge took pride in their accomplishment. We had killed the itch, and we were satisfied, as it had almost killed us. This was a decisive victory, the only one we had achieved lately. So, When someone asks you to name a famous Revolutionary War battle, remember Joseph Plum Martin and be sure to mention the Battle of the Itch. Once upon a nation.
I'll go for a train ride. I don't mind if I do.
One ticket, kind sir.
Where would you like to go, miss?
To Philadelphia.
Sorry, we're sold out. So for people that don't, well, you guys don't know this about me, but I have a background as an electrician, and this is pretty cool. Okay, so just to give you like kind of an idea where we're at. Over there in the distance, that's Washington headquarters. Right up there's the train station. And right here, these are the huts of Washington's personal, like, elite guards. So basically his Secret Service. The funny thing is, from all the huts,
The Chief Guard was organized on the 12th of March, 1776, at the request of General George Washington, for the purpose of protecting not only the general, but also safeguarding his official papers and personal baggage. For those soldiers selected, many consider this duty a great honor and
I don't know if you can hear that, but that's
It was during the Valley Forge incident.
that was triggered by me walking in here.
17th of March, 1776.
But basically, these quarters aren't much different than what the rest of the soldiers had to deal with. One of the interesting things we found out is all these little cabins, they're all recreations. None of the originals are here. They have done archaeological digs in the area and they found remains of the originals, but they just built these in their, you know, approximately where they originally were, to give people an idea of what it was like. I'm not entirely sure what this would have been, like a bathhouse. It's right in the middle of a stream coming down through the field, so I'm guessing that's probably what that was. All right, everyone, we are back at the car. We returned the bikes. We were out for about 2.5 hours. This park is really nice to see. If you have the physical means, I recommend renting the bikes. They're not that expensive. I believe it's $15 for 2 hours, $25 for the whole day. Not a bad price. Better than most places I've seen. But everyone that works here and volunteers here is extremely knowledgeable and fun to interact with. Overall, very good stop. Definitely